Okay, so this week is actually a very strong matchup roster-wise for the Cleveland Browns. They're good at what the Buffalo Bills aren't good at. It's simple as that. The Buffalo Bills aren't a great run defense. The Browns, if they're good at anything, it's running the ball. On the other side of the ball, the Buffalo Bills are kind of a middling offense. They kind of rely on their scrambling quarterback and their quarterback to make plays, but he hasn't really made as many plays as people would assume at a 6-2 record. And, I think the Browns have enough to match up there defensively with that offense. Um, this is a game that the Browns, on paper, have no reason to lose. But the Browns have an X factor. That's Coach Freddie Kitchens. He has been an X factor more than you would like a first-year head coach to be, and it has determined a lot of losses for the Browns. The Buffalo Bills have their own X factor in Josh Allen, who, while many have assumed he's a bust, has been the X factor in deciding the wins for the Buffalo Bills, albeit it's a weaker schedule, yes. But, wins are wins. And 6-2 is a better record than 2-6, and, the Browns are 2-6. Buffalo Bills are 6-2. So, Josh Allen has been a positive X factor. So that is the one thing I am concerned about, is that the Browns have a negative X factor on their sidelines, while the Buffalo Bills have what has seemed to be a positive X factor on their side. Either way, this is going to be a very intriguing matchup. And it's going to be a very intriguing game to watch because there's a lot on the line for the Cleveland Browns specifically. They don't get this win here and they lose 3 days later on Thursday Night Football, I think a lot of people are going to get fired. So a lot of people coaching for their jobs, a lot of people playing for their jobs. And that they have a lot at stake. While the Buffalo Bills kind of have a cushion at 6-2, they can lose a game here. They're pretty comfy in the wild card at this point. They're sitting there. They have a good shot at the wild card. They have a tougher schedule coming up, but the Buffalo Bills, if they lose this game, wouldn't be the end of the world. So yes, there is a ton to look at in this game. So let's jump in. All right, so we're going to start with the key storylines. And the first storyline is going to be which Josh Allen will come out versus whatever Browns secondary comes out. Because both Josh Allen and both the Browns secondary have been two different tales of great and awful. When it comes to Josh Allen is one quarterback when they win and an awful, awful quarterback when they lose. When the Bills win a game, he's a 67% passer. He's an 8-4 touchdown ratio. He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback when they win. When they lose, oh man, he's 47% with a 2-3 touchdown interception ratio. It's awful. So tales of two Josh Allens. Which Josh Allen is going to come out? Against really good teams, it tends to be the 47% passer, Josh Allen. But against teams that are ranked in that same level as the Browns, he could probably be the good Josh Allen. It's not out the realm of possibility. The Browns have not played that good. So that is going to be something to look at. Now, when it comes to the Browns secondary, yes, there has been two tails of the Browns secondary. And ironically, it has been the positive end has been when the secondary is at its least healthiest, and the negative end has been when the Browns have had the most health at their secondary, because when they have been their most healthy, they've let guys like Marcus Mariota, Luke Falk, of all people, and Brandon Allen have better days than they had any right to. And when they have been their least healthy is when they have held guys like Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson, of all people, to some of their worst performances of the year. So yes, this Browns secondary has been a tale of two secondaries. And it's up to Steve Wilks, who is, in his background, a defensive back coach, to determine that. So which Browns secondary is going to show up? Which Josh Allen's going to show up? Well, that's going to be an interesting thing to see on Sunday. The next storyline is going to be Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt versus the Bills' 30th ranked rushing defense. This is a huge mismatch for the Buffalo Bills that they have to have some solution for, or else it's going to kill them. And when they played the team that is ranked one spot below the Cleveland Browns, as far as rushing offense goes on DVOA, they did not have a good day stopping the run. They gave up 200 yards to Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders. And while I like those two, while I think those two are good running backs, I don't think they are Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So this could be a major problem for the Buffalo Bills. The Browns' rushing offense has been proven. They have played the second, third, fourth, eighth, and 13th ranked run defenses in the NFL. They've had good games, and that's without Kareem Hunt. So Browns' rushing offense should have a good day against the Bills' 30th ranked rush defense. It's something they could exploit. But that brings me to the next storyline. Will the Bills' coaching advantage be enough to beat the Browns? Because the Browns, this is not the first game where the Browns have had a very obvious mismatch in a certain grouping on offense, and they have failed to take advantage of it. And since the Browns have that history under the Freddie Kitchens era to kind of coach themselves out of advantages by getting a little bit too cute and trying to throw people off guard too much, that has me worried about what the game plan is going into the Buffalo Bills. Because if the Browns' game plan is to throw this ball any more times than 35, then this is not going to be a win for the Browns. They're probably going to lose. But if they go into this with the right game plan to run this ball down the throat of the Buffalo Bills, have a combined 40 carries for all three running backs, over 40 carries, they'll probably win this game. But, it's up to the Browns and their X factor at head coach, which has not been a positive for the Cleveland Browns throughout the season at all. And then the fourth thing will be, can Baker Mayfield continue to make positive steps versus a very strong Bills secondary? Now, while Baker has been thrown under bus and kind of like pooped on for the last 2 weeks because his team hasn't won games, I think under the radar, it's kind of slid that Baker's actually been playing much better than he has this first half of the season in the last 2 games. Against the New England Patriots, up to that point before Lamar Jackson played him, he had the best game any quarterback who has played the Patriots has had this season against the Patriots. Now, of course, Lamar Jackson woefully outdid him, but Lamar Jackson is outdoing a lot of people this season. And when you look at it, he had the one interception that was the shovel pass that everybody thought was funny. But I had NFL quarterback, former NFL guy who has his own YouTube channel, the QB School, check it out, JT O'Sullivan on this channel. And he told me that play, there's no read. He just has to toss the ball there, which means that the way that play was schemed up by having a tackle pool instead of the guard almost guaranteed an interception against the front that the Patriots have. So it's not really Baker's fault. It's one of the interceptions that's completely not Baker's fault. So, and then if you look at what he did against Denver, I thought in the fourth quarter he did some strong stuff there. I mean, he had the 2 runs, try to keep the drive going. He really showed a lot of heart. He played a lot better in that game than he has in recent weeks. I think Baker has been on a positive upward track so far the last 2 games. While he hasn't won, he's not turned the ball over against Denver, which is the first time he's done that this season and the first time he's not thrown an interception in a game dating back to, I think, Cincinnati last season. I think one of the Cincinnati games was the last time he didn't throw an interception in the game. So, again, it's a huge step for Baker Mayfield. And I think he's starting to show that he's going to overcome some of these issues that he had trouble overcoming early in the season, and he's starting to get over this sophomore hump. And I think he needs to continue that against the Buffalo Bills, seeing that the next opponent for the Browns is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a really good defense, and you played them twice in 3 weeks. So, again, if you're the Cleveland Browns, you really need Baker Mayfield to continue to show positive steps, although you might not utilize him a ton this week because you should be running the ball. I would like to see Baker Mayfield continue to look and make better plays and not turn the ball over, and maybe even a return of the play action pass game. All right, so we're going to look at inactives for this week, and it's going to be real short because the Buffalo Bills don't have any inactives, but the Browns have a few. They're probably not going to have Olivier Vernon, who's doubtful, hasn't practiced this week. They're probably not going to have Eric Murray or Ricky Seals-Jones, and they might have Demarius Randall, but I'm leaning on the side they probably won't. But, it's Demarius Randall, so anything's possible. So Bills look to be healthy coming into this game. The Browns have some injuries and some positions. The tight end, missing a tight end is significant. But Pharaoh Brown did return to practice, which is, I think, more significant this week because he's more important when it comes to blocking on the offensive line as a tight end than Ricky Seals-Jones, who's more utilized as a receiver. And I think Carlson can fill in that third tight end role well enough in order for the Browns to be able to run the ball this week. So no real significant injuries outside of Olivier Vernon and Demarius Randall for this week. All right, and the biggest problem and the biggest weakness for each team. For the Buffalo Bills, it's been discussed. This run defense is not great. And they're playing against a run offense that could be very good, that could hurt them a lot. Now, again, Buffalo Bills are better coached than the Browns, so I wouldn't leave it out the realm of possibility for them to figure something out for this week to stop the run. But the Browns have run the ball well against some of the best teams in the NFL, so I'm not going to say that's very likely to happen. Honestly, again, for both teams, the goal is going to be to not fall behind because you have two quarterbacks in Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen who have not proven to be able to consistently bring you back from behind. They are not those kind of dudes so far in their career, which is okay. It doesn't mean either of them are bust, but it does mean that they are not ready for that yet. So if you're the Browns, if you're the Bills, the goal is to get a 14-point lead here early. Whoever gets a 14-point lead here first probably wins the game. If it stays close, then coaching starts to become more of a factor. If you're the Cleveland Browns, you really don't like that. But, you ultimately have the advantage on the run game. And the biggest weakness for the Cleveland Browns is obviously the head coach, the coaching. It's been a problem. It's not been a problem just because Brown fans are mad that they're 2-6 and they want somebody to get fired. No, this is like people who have played football in the NFL have looked at game film and said that this is a problem. Former NFL coaches have looked at game film and said that this is a problem, and they don't come out and say those kind of things often. Coaches normally protect coaches. Players normally protect current coaches when they're former players. This is not something that happens a lot. The fact that it's happened so much with the Cleveland Browns when it comes to Freddie Kitchens tells you that there is a significant coaching problem here. Whether it's inexperience at the position level, whether it's inexperience at the head coach level, whether it's the coordinators, there is a problem there with the Browns coaching that is significant and a serious issue for this team. Baker Mayfield has to overcome his coaching to be good. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are going to have to overcome their coaching to be good. The Bills don't have to overcome their coaching to be good. And if it wasn't for the advantage that the Browns have in the run game versus the weakness that the Bills had, I wouldn't even feel comfortable predicting what I'm going to predict for the Cleveland Browns. Because if this game were more evenly matched, then that means coaching is going to be a factor, and I have no confidence in these coaches from what they've showed me throughout the season, and I don't think that's me being overreactive. I don't think that's me just being angry Browns fan. No, I think this is me looking at this objectively and saying that this is a problem, and a lot of people who don't have a dog in this fight, who have experience that matters, say that. So for the Browns to win this game, they're going to have to overcome coaching. Just like for the Bills to win this game, they're going to have to overcome their bad run defense. Now let's jump into win criteria for this week. And it's going to be simple. Run game is going to be key for both teams. And if you are Josh Allen, your goal is going to be, if you get this ball on the first possession, to score on that first possession. You're going to want to put the Browns back up against the wall. You're going to want to force them to pass where you have the advantage. If the Browns fall behind and you force Baker Mayfield to pass this ball over 35 times, you're probably going to win the game if you're the Buffalo Bills, because that means that Baker's going to have to force the ball. He's going to start pressing. He's going to throw an interception or two, and then you're going to be able to take advantage of the time of possession and win this game. The more you make the Browns pass, the more mistakes tend to happen, the more interceptions, the more turnovers, the more fumbles, the more penalties tend to happen. But on the flip side of the ball, if you're the Buffalo Bills, just like the Browns cannot afford to fall behind to have Baker Mayfield try to pull them back in, the Bills can't afford to either, and I think it's more severe because Josh Allen does not have the same weapons and game changers on the wide receiving line core that Baker Mayfield does. The Browns have to get ahead early, and to do that, run the ball to your running backs. Not like give the ball to Odell on a shovel. Not like Jarvis Landry. Well, Jarvis Landry in the backfield works sometimes, so that's okay if they do that once or twice. But just run the ball with your 2 Pro Bowl running backs, with your very good run blocking offensive line. Use them to take advantage of the weakness. You don't have to get cute here. Just run the ball. That's what every other team that's beaten the Bills has done to win the game. Do what the Philadelphia Eagles did. They ran the ball. They didn't get cute. They weren't running Philly special all game. They were running the ball. And overall, the Browns just need to stop doing trick stuff. Just play football. You don't have to do all that. And coaching cannot become a factor. If coaching becomes a factor, if this game becomes like the Browns are behind 1 or 2 points, then, you know, my confidence in the Browns winning dips by a lot. So that's going to be what it takes for the Browns to win. All right, so what's my win-loss prediction here? What do I think is going to happen? I don't trust Freddie Kitchens right now. I don't trust him to do the right thing. But I think what happened in Denver was so bad that it couldn't help but humble everybody in this organization. And I think that humbling will lead to the Browns doing the right thing for once this season. And that means running the ball a ton and winning this game. I think the Browns are going to win 24-17. But that's just what I think. I want to know what you think down in the comment section down below. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think Josh Allen's going to go off for a big day? Or do you think the Browns' advantage running the ball this week will be enough to carry them to a win? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that is it for this week's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.